Greetings, fellow cruisers. This is Jeff with Enjoy Life Traveling. Today we are in St. Maarten. We're going to take a look around the cruise port. And right behind me is the ships there, so you're just going to come walking down, and I'm going to take you the rest of the way. So this trip here, this is going to be a port guide for you. I will not only show you the immediate port, but we'll also go across the other side. We'll take the water taxi and go over there. I did put out a video about just taking the water taxi, so I will just kind of barely touch on the water taxi portion of it, but I really want to show you all of the shops, all the things to do, and just how to get around, so you feel comfortable. There's a lot of ships that can get into this port, and I think it's an underrated port personally. I got to tell you, when I first came here, I just sort of did the tour. I've been here a few times and learned about it, and it was fine, but there was nothing that kind of jumped out at me. But when I took the water taxi over, I was like, wow, I would love to come to this place and just hang around port and do the beach that's over there. The beach is, as far as I'm concerned anyway, magnificent in that it's beautiful, it's warm, it's inexpensive. You can get everything you need, and you're not going to go broke doing it. And because you're far enough south to where, at least all the times I've been here, and several of them in the winter, it's not a problem. You're in the high 70s, low 80s. It seems like most of the time, and the water's warm, versus maybe going to the Bahamas, and I've done that, and it's been quite cold and windy and really unable to get in the ocean or any of the pools there. So anyway, I just want to kind of show you the full walkthrough here. I realize I'm talking. You look at this and you're going, I don't see anything. It's a little bit of a walk. It's not crazy, but it's a little bit of a walk. It is fairly smooth, so if you have mobility issues, if you're in a wheelchair, it shouldn't be a problem as far as this immediate port area. As far as the water taxi goes, they have a ramp. They don't use the ramp, but it's right there, so I would think that if someone came with a wheelchair, they would work that through and make that work out, and it seemed like it was fairly roomy in the water taxi. As you will see, first thing off is that there is no shortage of places to buy jewelry, which is somewhat true for any port, but this one even I kind of thought more so. And what I mean by that is that you've got this port area, and then, as I said, you go across to the other side there on the water taxi, and sometimes the same shops over there. So there's two Effie's, there's two Diamonds Internationals. That's a good place, by the way, to get a very cold beer. I appreciate cold beer. That's where you want to go. And I think it was $5 or $6. So anyway, as you go through here, this area itself will probably have more jewelry than anything. I mean, it has some other stuff. It has, where you can buy all the little tchotchkes that you want. It has all the magnets, all the shot glasses, buy your hats, buy a sundress. All the basics will be here, but maybe a lesser selection. And then you can go on the other side, and there'll be plenty of places to buy things, but there'll also be a lot more restaurants and places to go as far as if you're wanting food. It's very limited on this side. The place I just passed, I'm passing, I should say, is a place where you can rent bikes to get around, and not bicycles, but motorized vehicles to get around the island in. So, but yeah, again, plenty of things to do here. But I would tell you that this would be a great place to save some money and just take the water taxi over. You can take a taxi, and you come out here, and they've got the tour buses and taxis straight ahead. You can kind of see one up front there, and that's where you'll get on. That's how you'll walk to get to your excursions. And then there's also a place farther back. It's a little bit hidden, and that was when I was first going to St. Maarten that they had us meet at, and it did take a second to get acclimated because the description was kind of just said it was in the back, and when you see all the stuff that's going on, it doesn't necessarily match up, and I'll show you that here in a second. But anyway, there's probably more jewelry than anything else in here, but as you can see, they got the little shops here with the people, and sometimes you can bargain with them. If you're not in a huge hurry, you may be able to save $1 or $2 just shopping from one to the next. I was at a port after this one to where the table right next door, the same, I think it was a magnet, and in one spot it was $4, and the table right next to it, immediately next to it, was $6. And I was like, okay, here. So anyway, yeah, you can see, I mean, $10, that's cheap. And the shirts, I don't know enough about their shirts, but they didn't seem necessarily cheap. I did stop and feel them at one point. They felt fine as far as the quality goes, but who knows after one washing what happens here. But anyway, inexpensive. If you're going to be out something, $10 isn't going to knock anybody out there. Again, this is your port area where you're going to catch a lot of your touristy stuff. And then behind that is where I thought I was going to meet my tourist person when I first came here, and it turns out it was not. It was actually to the far left here. So this is your photo shop to get the St. Maarten sign, but you stand in quite a line, and people will walk right in front of you to get what they want. Anyway, as I'm walking through here, I'm going to try to show you as best I can sort of where I went, because it's behind rather than just obvious, because it looks like when I saw the reading to take the tour that it was farther to the right, and it's actually just around the corner and behind these buildings that I just turned away from, rather than straight out there, which is what it sounds like in the reading. So there is, again, these are some nice little shops here. Your restroom is right over here. And the restrooms were fairly clean. I didn't have a problem with it. But this is where I decided I was going to walk. And you can see some people with the mobility things. They're not having any problems getting around there. But this is actually where you go for one of the tours there. So if you're looking and you can't figure out what's going on, it's behind all this stuff here that you can see some tour buses back there. It's like, oh, okay, well, I wish that would have been explained a little better. But yeah, you'll go through where you see everybody walking and find some of your tours will be meeting right there. When I'm going to just jump subjects real quick here. When you are, if you're like me, where you've got grandkids and such, you're looking for something to take them, but sometimes if you're with a lot of stops, or if you happen to travel a lot, it can be something to try to make sure you got something for everybody. And so one of the things you might consider is, because of all these jewelry shops at really any of the ports, most of them will offer something free to get you in there. And the idea is volume. And if they see a lot of people going into the shops, a lot of times somebody else goes, oh, this might be the place to go. And so that's one of the reasons that they do that there, is to get people in and make it look busier for those that are looking to buy, that's the better place. But anyway, they have free giveaways. They'll have free charms. They'll have free bracelets, maybe a little free necklace or a gemstone. And these are things, again, that don't cost anything, and they also are not very heavy. So if you are looking to take, magnets or something like that, magnets, particularly if you got a few of them, can weigh a little bit more versus a necklace or something. It's pretty light, so it isn't going to necessarily throw your luggage off if you're close. And it's easy to put away. I mean, it takes up no room at all. So if you got grandkids or kids that are of a younger age, getting those little necklaces and bracelets, and that, if you're wondering if they have it or not, it will be posted. They want you to come in. So usually outside, whether it be on a window or whether that be on like one of the signs here. Sometimes the signs will be like that one, where it's just telling you whatever specials they've got going on. And sometimes they will be going on and telling you that there is something free to get. So again, I think it's a great opportunity. As far as buying your jewelry, I would tell you to, and I know I've brought this up in other videos, but stick to the name brands, because I have heard some horror stories of people trying to get the deal and they think they've got something really worked out because they were able to talk a guy down, and then they got him on board the ship and checked it, and what they got was fake. So if you're buying fine jewelry, if this is something that you're after, you want to go with one of them that are reputable, that has a reputation that is positive, not something that, there's one, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it. It just stuck out to me that there was K Jewelers, and the K Jewelers, I'm just thinking, they said, oh yeah, they're just here in Bahamas. There's three of them or in the Caribbean, and they were telling me the locations. I'm like, well, K Jewelers, I'm not saying, they didn't even say it was related to the ones that were in the U.S., but it looked the same as the ones in the U.S. So I was a little bit concerned. Are they trying to take the name? Are they legit? Are they not? I don't know. I'm not trying to say one or the other. I'm just saying that the people that I talked to had me a little concerned as to what I was looking at there. So, again, this is inside the smallest portion of the port. As you've been able to see, that there are a few places that you can sit down and have a bite if you don't want to go anywhere. But say you've been to St. Maarten, maybe even not looking to do a tour, just get off for a moment, stretch your legs, look at something other than the ship. There are some places out here where you can do that. And personally, I really appreciate that myself. I said one of the trips I didn't do anything more than just hung out at the port. And that place that's up here I was showing you a little bit ago, Sharky's, I mean, that they have cold beer. And if you're a beer drinker, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, usually if someone's handing you beer, it's cold. But really cold beer is, to me anyway, is just, perfect. And I realize that other countries, and there's different ways to do that, and sometimes you don't want a very cold beer, but the beer that I drink, the Bud Lights, and in this case the Caribs, Sharky's here, I think does a great job with it, and I've been stopping and making sure I get a drink there just because I know it's going to get a good quality cold drink from good, nice people, and I appreciate that as well. So there you go right there, free charm bracelet. Why not? And if you are with if you're with your significant other, you can both grab one, so it's per person, and so now you got two, so you covered two kids, and maybe you go to another store and you got another couple things that you're getting. It's cheap. All right, so when you get here, this is cash only, US dollars. I gave them $7, and this is for both ways. And it's pretty easy, seamless to do, but your credit cards won't work. So you can see where the water taxi is. The sign's fairly easy to see, and I'm not going to go too deep into that because I do have a video for that out already as far as how to get the water taxi in the process. I was just going to kind of quickly go over that is where I'm heading here, and I'll bounce up to a little farther here in the video so you can see the other side. So up here is where we're going to be getting on to the water taxi. Again, it is fairly easy, but check out the video if you have any concerns so you can take a look at that and to know what you need. But yeah, it's pretty seamless. They did have a ramp for someone with mobility issues, but they didn't actually have it attached. It was just like a small gap here. But the ramp is there, and I'm sure they would break that if someone with a wheelchair did come across there. And I did in this video at least wanted to take a quick peek at the boat itself so you can see how much room there is and such, and we'll get to, again, the other side here. Be the next thing you see. So my first impression was what probably is yours, is that this is beautiful. There is, the beautiful water here. There are a lot of beach chairs. My first thought was the beach chairs were kind of snug, but then really on the other side and farther down, there was absolutely plenty of room, and it wasn't overly crowded. I think that was probably just individually owned by one of the places over there. So maybe that's why they did that. But anyway, this is a spot to where when you're coming back, you'll want to have your SeaPass card. At the time of shooting this video, they were not asking for further ID like they do some ports, but I always recommend that you have a driver's license with you, and just to make sure that you're covered in case that changes, because some ports will require you to have that, and it's not the ship's responsibility to tell you that. It's yours to know where you're going and what they're going to ask for. So keep that in mind. So I am going to show you more of the shops and do a little more of the walking in this video, whereas on the port one where I was showing just how to do the water taxi, that was really all I was looking to do. So I didn't show you some of the menus, some of the prices, but you'll find that as far as getting your chairs goes, the lounge chairs with an umbrella and Wi-Fi and drinks was not expensive here. You didn't have to look far. But if you're looking to shop, if you're looking to eat, all that kind of stuff, I wanted to give you a good walk along so you can actually see the port itself and kind of get a game plan. That's what I like to do. I like to watch these videos and see these things. So hopefully you do too, because I'm just going to show some of this with as little editing as possible. As I think I showed this picture in the port one, so you kind of see that. But yeah, there'll be just a little bit of overlap there. But again, this is a very well-maintained area. So yeah, I felt clean. I felt safe. There was really nothing about this that sent any, alarms going off. And I liked it. I mean, if I would just come here to go to a restaurant or just come here for the beach. I'll let you hear this real quick from the guy selling the umbrellas. How much are the chairs and umbrellas?
What do you want, 2 or 1?
Well, right now I'm making something for people that want to come back here for a YouTube thing. I was wanting to know if you could maybe help me and help my watchers.
Oh, that problem. I give you 2 for 20.
2 for 20?
Yeah.
And 1 for
10.
10. Thank you so much. And that includes the umbrella?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You want one?
No, not yet.
Maybe. Hello.
Yeah, I know I put that in the last video. I just thought it'd be worthwhile for you to see there in case you don't get to that to know how much those were. But as you'll see on some of the signs and such, there are other deals to be worked. There you can get some alcohol included, and that can adjust the price. I know I went to one. I'm pretty sure it was 5 beers with the 2 chairs and umbrellas and Wi-Fi. And I think it was $30, or they did like 2 mixed drinks. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that's a deal. I would love this. As you're walking down this boardwalk here, one thing I noticed is that there's very little sand on it. So if you didn't want to get like a bunch of sand in your shoes, if that was a concern, you wanted to check it out, but you didn't want a bunch of sand on you, it's easy to walk through here. I did like the fact they had this available pool. This place did to rent or to stay at for a bit. I just thought that was a nice extra little plus, $20. You know, if you're just trying to get off the ship, I understand that, you know, the ship's got pools, but sometimes you just want something different. And that little pool there was clean. It was obviously not being used. Certainly not much. I don't know what the rest of the day looked like, obviously. But, you know, why not? Why not do something different for $20 to be able to go there and you know that they're going to have people, serving you and all that kind of stuff? Heck yeah, I'll do that. If that's, if I don't feel like doing the beach, yeah, I'll do that. I'd do the pool. That's a good day for me. But anyway, I want to show you the port. I'll get off my tangent there. And let you see it. So look, you see the mountains. You get to see, again, the beautiful waters. Everybody that I talked to was friendly. I did not get any high pressure, stopping by this from anybody. I had one fella that was not happy that I was videoing, and he snapped at me a bit. But occasionally I do run into some people that don't like that. But anybody that doesn't want to be in the video, I cut out. They don't have to be rude about it. If they decide I don't want to be in the video, or if they're trying to clearly block their faces, I will keep them out of it. I try to avoid as much as possible making contact with children and such like that. So if you see me and you don't want to be in a video, don't worry about it. I will usually get the hint. But yeah, most people actually want it. If I say I'm doing a YouTube video, they're jumping in front of the camera. So I know some people say they're camera shy, but most of them are not. So do you like this view? Do you like these kind of port videos where I show like this? I always wonder, and I know I say this in a lot of videos, is I look for that feedback. I really do want to hear from the people watching this as to what they want, because I want the channel to be, yes, I have my own view of what I want to accomplish, but if there's things that I can do to make it better and really for the channel to take off, because right now we're still fairly new. I mean, we're less than 6 months old, and I'm gaining a following. But if I'm not showing the content, or if I'm not delivering it in the way that works for you guys, then I want to be able to sort of adjust to that and make it work. Because I've already learned, a lot about trying to keep the video, so I hopefully don't move too fast. It's really easy to whip that camera around and you're going, whoa, it's too fast, or not spend enough time at signs or something that you're trying to read. So I've been getting better at those kind of things. And I know sometimes the audio can be a challenge, particularly with some of the different mediums that I'm trying to do and doing voiceovers and how things sound behind me there. So again, I appreciate that. And if you've done it in the past, thank you. I've tried to incorporate some of those things. However, if you notice that I didn't, sometimes I'll do videos out of order as far as, what I shot versus when you're seeing it. So I may be sort of going back in time and trying to get to things that I haven't been able to put out there yet. But for me, I like to see what the ports look like. And even if I'm going to go and do a video of a port, I'll try to find some other information out there so I can kind of get an idea. And if I can see something else that maybe someone else did and go, oh, I wonder if I could do that, and maybe it'd be more clear or better, I try to get that out there as well. So yeah, I do want your feedback on that. Without spending too much time about that, I probably already have, but I would tell you that this would probably also be a place to go if you just wanted to stay, instead of a cruise stop. I would probably look for a shorter stay here. When you're bouncing around the islands, I met a couple on this cruise, or not on this cruise, but on this port stop that I had talked to, and they were actually here, and they were bouncing around from island to island to island, and spending a night, 2 nights, 3 nights. And this would be, I think, a good one for that, to spend a night or two if you knew the weather was going to be good in particular, and at one of these places that are right here on this beach. Yeah, I would enjoy that. I don't know how late everything is open. I don't know how much that dictates it. I don't know how the nightlife goes, but I'd be very curious about that. So if you've been here, I would like that feedback as well. Because I think that'd be something I'd like to do, would be to just stop here and enjoy the nightlife and kind of bounce down the different bars and see who's got music and playing. My wife's with me, maybe do a little bit of dancing. I'm not too organized with my dancing, but I'll shake my tail feathers anyway and act like I know what I'm doing. Yeah, this guy was nice. I'll talk to him for a minute. I may be back.
It's a crazy beach bar.
Yeah?
Nice relaxing, island cocktail,
Sounds good.
lunch and breakfast all day.
That might be a place I'd come back and check out. I meant to, but I was exhausted just from walking, and so I ended up not getting a chance to really check it out again. But seemed like a nice guy. It'd probably be a place to check out if you're familiar with it, if you tried it. Again, I want to hear from you. Let's have some conversation. Put that in the comments. Again, as you can see, as far as the shops goes, there was some little stands there. A good place to support some of the local people. I always try to make sure that I check to make sure that when I'm buying stuff that it doesn't say made in China. I don't have any problem with the Chinese. I'm just saying I try to buy stuff that is hopefully from the area that I'm at and help that local economy. I realize if you're buying it from them, yes, you're helping them out, but still, I think it's different if you got something that was actually made there. Those little apartments, it was kind of weird the way, the dirty it's kind of dirty-ish looking. It may not be, may just be because it was on the beach, but I kind of wonder. And again, if someone's been there, I'd like to hear about you. It seemed like it was a fair place to go. It wasn't cheap. I wish they hadn't put the post right here for you to see the menu. I tried to get a little bit of a look at it there. But we'll get walking. There's a place to clean the sand off. That's what that guy was doing here. He is using the hose and cleaning off sand off his feet. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy these types of videos here. I would love to go back, and again, there was no shortage of places to rent from. So I was not sure if I was going to go through here or not, but it looks like this was more of a I don't want to say a private area because they had no problems. No one said anything about me being there, but it definitely seemed to be more for certain businesses specifically that was over there. But they want your money, so they're not going to say, I would imagine, too much, and they certainly did not there either. But it did seem like it was more sectioned off for the businesses that were there, whereas on the other side, it felt like anyway, it was more of a public area, and some people had their own chairs that was over there. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, if you're more familiar with it than I am. I just wanted to, again, give you a look at everything, and that's what this video is about, is just getting a look, because if you're planning a trip, for me anyway, that's how I plan, is I try to do some research on these things and see what I want to do, and if this is something that looks fun. That little pier I was just showing you, that is where the other taxi will come to pick people up. That taxi that I was on there, that water taxi, was round trip. It's kind of 3 stops, so you got straight across where I came off at, and then where this spot is at over here that I was showing you, and it does that little bit of a triangle. And that's all day. So when you're on that, it's all day at last. You could go back to the ship and grab some lunch if you didn't want to spend the money and come back to the beach, or shop and take your stuffs back and come back to the beach, or however you want to do that. And like I did in the last video, this is the same section, but I want you to see the beach. So in case you didn't get a chance to see that, I did want to just pop this in here real quick. So other than learn about the taxi service and how that works, boom, beach. How can you not like that? water was warm. Unfortunately, I'm going to keep the sound down on here because it was a little bit loud, and I had to do some extra stuff if I yank the sound out there. But on the other one, I kept some sound in here so you could kind of hear the water, and took me out as far as the immediate sound goes. So I thought I would show you a little bit of a different area here. Obviously, everybody sees the boardwalk, but I thought I would venture back just a little bit so you could see what that looks like. And so that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to make a left and go behind the buildings and see what that looks like. And that way you guys can see that and decide if you wanted to do that. There was nothing wrong with this area at all. I did not feel unsafe, going down an alleyway. Obviously, I wouldn't have went down it had I felt, unsafe. So again, I wouldn't worry about it. That would be my advice, is that if you're curious as to what's back here, I felt absolutely fine. It's more shopping. It is narrow streets, just a one-way street, and these cars are in there tight, and the people are in there tight doing some of the walking. So I just thought I'd give you that look real quick. There were more places that were closed back here, but there were options that obviously were not available on the other side, and there were some that just seemed to go through. So I didn't go farther back. I just stayed on this street, and I just thought I'd go ahead and add it to the video here so you could see what that looks like, and hopefully kind of get a feel what that looks like in case you want to check it out. So that's kind of what I'm here for. There was, again, more shopping. I feel that typically when things are farther back, you can negotiate a little bit more because they don't get as many people. A lot of people won't venture back. So if that's something you're looking to do, you may be able to find some lesser expensive food in some cases because, again, they don't have the same people coming through there, and so they kind of want to have a little bit of word of mouth and want someone to check them out, and that's how they get a lot of their business, that people don't walk back there. But hopefully they've heard, hey, where'd you get that, or where'd you go for lunch? And they find out there's this little place back there, and it was nice and it was cheap and blah, blah, blah. Obviously do your research, but hopefully that's kind of what you're doing here, is making that a part of your research. I did not go to that particular restaurant that we passed, but again, you can usually find some deals going through some farther away places versus the very first shop you come to. I learned that early on. One of my first stops cruising was in Jamaica, and in that video I did in Jamaica, the first place, the coffee was $65 a pound, and then you went farther back where there was less people to go there, and it was $40, and you could negotiate it to down a bit. So I would tell you to keep that in mind when you're doing it. As you can see, this is tight, and this is in the middle of the street where the traffic is not moving, and then this is the narrow walk area through here. So if you're someone of size, I'm a fairly decent sized person. I got through there okay, but I could see that if you had family and kids, or just a bigger size, that maybe this would be something that would be less comfortable for you. So keep that in mind. Again, just try to give you all the information I can. These cars are not moving. So what stood out to me again is that I would probably not want to rent a car if my plan was to go here, because I don't want to spend my time in a traffic jam and then not know exactly where I'm supposed to go, where I'm going to park. And it did not stand out to me as to what was available there. That lady that I just passed, she did not want to be in this video. She just kind of gave me a sneer. So I just covered her face with that little sticker there with a like, share, subscribe thing. That seemed like a good use for that. But yeah, if someone didn't want to be in the video, that's fine. But man, when I was moving that camera around, if you just saw the look on her face, she was not happy. And I was like, this, what are you in, witness protection or something? It's not that big a deal. But fine, whatever you want to do, no big deal. But yeah, the look would have killed. I'm surprised I'm still walking. So anyway, back to the video. This kind of gives you a little bit, hopefully, of the shops. I don't go all the way through. I just kind of go to where the port is at. But then I'm going to get back on here, and I'm going to show you the other side. Where those blue chairs were? So when I come back out of here, I will go, well, in this case, left. It would have been right as I was coming out of the port before. so you can see what that looks like as well. And I went down down to where there was one building that had obviously been abandoned for a while and had some damage. I thought that'd be a good place to turn around at. But yeah, there's more coming as far as seeing the beach that I haven't shown you. So stay with me if you're wanting to see that. I just wanted this to be out there because to me, again, if you're making your decisions and plans, and if I see traffic like this, my first thought was I don't want to rent a vehicle. Certainly not with a lot more information, and I really didn't see much in the way of parking that was obvious. So just keep that in mind and do some due diligence there if you are going to do something along these lines, because it may be worth it to just take an Uber or whatever you would like to get around in versus trying to rent something here, because that would be somewhat frustrating for me. The other thing I want to point out, and I said this before, is all the jewelry stores. So if you've been watching some of the stuff here, I would say this is probably as many jewelry stores, probably more than any I've seen at any other port. So if you're looking for jewelry, yeah, they got it. But yeah, it is intense, the amount of jewelry that you can have the opportunity to purchase here. So anyway, this is the part of the video where I'm going to go down here and I'll make a left so you can see the beach area there and all the different shops and the different restaurants that are available. I did not go farther back down that way there. It just didn't seem like there was anything that stood out to me that would be of interest. And this is already going to be a long enough video, obviously, being that I think I'm past half an hour right now, and I'm still going to be showing you the other part of the beach. I'm just trying to make sure you see everything for the people that want to see that. So let's go take a look down here. There were some places that stood out to me, and I will show you those that looked like they'd be a fun place to get a drink, to get a bite to eat. There was also, and I'll get a chance to show you, there was a place to work out for free on the beach. So I got a little bit of that as well, so you can see that if that's something that you're interested in doing. I can do that on the ship, and most ships have a gym. I have yet to do that, probably should. But if that's your thing, then this will be interesting possibly for you to look at there. And the other thing that's coming up here is that there was a guy that was doing some music. He was doing some singing, and that was in conjunction with one of the bars that was across the way there, bar/restaurant. And as you're looking through the videos here, I also want to encourage you to check out other people's YouTube channels as well. Being able to sort of cross-reference some of the places that maybe I stop that they don't stop at, or vice versa. Sometimes you get a little different look, and they may stop and just eat at a certain place and be able to give you that review. So find a few, hopefully, that are to your liking, and like and subscribe to their channel, and that way you can kind of cross-reference there and see what works for you. This place here was interesting. It looked good, but it wasn't very busy. I was surprised because this is like real close to lunch here, and it wasn't. But the place that was over here was a little busier, particularly on the inside, and it looked pretty good. And I'm going to get up here and try to give you a little bit of a look at the menu and what they got. So as you can see, they did the approach of kind of that all-inclusive look to it. So you had the beach cross there, but for $79, it was all you could eat, all you can drink. And I hadn't noticed that before. I didn't know it was there. And so I wanted to go ahead and add that to it, because some people like that all-inclusive one thing and not worrying about how much they're spending, particularly if you like drinks, because that's usually where the money comes in. Not that food doesn't have its own higher cost, but if you're drinking several drinks, that unlimited thing can certainly be a bit of a lifesaver. There is a hotel here that I am passing, and that looked, again, it looked clean, it looked small, it looked like you had been there for maybe a little bit, and I don't mean that bad. I'm just saying that it looked like it'd been there a minute, and but well kept. So these are places that, again, if you're wanting to stay in St. Maarten, that you might look at doing, and that way you can enjoy this beach and have all the little shops that are going on there. Because I would consider doing it. I really love cruising, so it's hard for me to think beyond that, quite frankly, for all that you get and get taken care of. But yeah, if you're into that, this is something to look at. Again, lots of shops. Hopefully you're taking note of those. But it was interesting. They had these things here for cigarettes, And that was not the only one, but so if you smoked, you would put it in these hanging I don't know, soup cans, so to speak. I had seen this on another video. I also like to watch EECC Travels, and they had done something at that bar there that I thought was interesting. So that'd be a channel I'd tell you to check out as well. And I think the gentleman there, Jason, I think he is from Missouri like me, from the Ozarks, because I was trying to, on their site, I was trying to communicate a little bit, and one of their followers had let me know that he is kind of from my state there, my area. So I thought that was kind of cool. I'm hoping to meet those guys at some point. I'm a little bit excited as the next cruise I'm on. I'm on Grandeur right now doing this, and next week I will be on Explorer on the 80s cruise. And I found out that Tony from La Lita Loca is going to be on there, so I'm really hoping I get a chance to meet him and talk with him there. And that's another channel I would tell you to check out if you haven't. He does a cruise news, and he does a little bit of this kind of stuff. I think he's trying to do more of it, but it'll keep you up to date with the cruise news that's going on, if that's something that interests you. He's one of the bigger channels, so there's a good chance that you have heard of him and may already like and subscribe to him or one of the other news channels. But I am personally looking forward to meeting him, and I'm hoping he might have a minute for me to pick his brain. I like to go cruising with him sometime. I do these cruises, and a lot of times I end up by myself. But I've got a cruise for two, because I get through my stuff through the casino. So I've got someone that could go along with me, but I rarely have a chance or an opportunity to take somebody. So I was like, man, I would love to be able to just say, hey, Tony, you want to come on there, and I'd love to get to know him a little bit better. And I do a lot in the casino stuff, and I know he's talked about it, but I would love to maybe even be on his channel and kind of talk about what I do with the casino, and then maybe talk to him on my channel. I don't know. I hope I can maybe somehow work that out at some point down the road, but he just seems like a great guy, and someone that I'd like to know, and sort of that down-to-earth, sensible kind of a person. So I'm hoping to get a chance to meet him, as well as the lovely Jenny B. My lady is Jennifer, and he's got a Jenny B. So we both got Jenny's from the block, or J-Lo's, or whatever you want to call it there. We got our Jennies. The number is not 8675309. That is just a song. So this is where I decided to stop. I saw that building. I'm like, all right, there's farther stuff, down there. There's more, but that seems to be good enough. So at this point, I'm going to head back.
I love that I cannot hide. I know it's you.
I'm hoping I can get away with that little shot there, that little bit of music there, without getting slapped with something with copyright there. But yeah, he was just outside singing in front of the Blue Bitch bar there, and was kind of part of that. And I thought it was nice, so I thought I'd put it in there for you guys to see. This is where I wrapped up the last video, was showing you this view, and so I thought I liked the view. I'd put it in here again and give me a chance to make sure that I told you that I appreciate you. Everything that you've done, all you watchers and commenters and thumbs up people, it means a ton to the channel. It is a huge difference as to whether or not the channel does well. So I'm at Sharky's here. But again, thank you, all of you. Appreciate everything that you do, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.